Welcome back and thank you very much for joining me. My name is Swadik Mayanja and I am Q the Nurse. And on this channel I bring you news, research, current events, and fun topics for nurses everywhere. Got quite the lineup, got quite the stories, a whole lot of announcements, and you know it, a Nurse of the Week. And this one is oh so special, so stick around. Let's get right on it.
You'll be doing things you don't like doing in order to go on living, that is, to go on doing things you don't like doing, which is stupid. Better to have a short life that is full of what you like doing than a long life spent in a miserable way.
Hey! So like I said, we are going to be starting with a couple of announcements, and they are very, very good announcements, powerful announcements for you nurses, for nurses everywhere to join and help us nurses get to a better place. And how are we going to do that? Nurses Take DC. Yes, that is coming up next week. I am actually going down there April 25th to the 26th. It's a 2-day event. The first day is a whole lot of speeches, but the second day, the 26th, is when the march is actually happening. March, probably just a rally. It's just happening. I'm going to put a link in the description box down below. And for those who don't know, Nurses Take DC is a nurse-driven movement to make safe nurse-to-patient ratios a reality for all nurses in the United States. This year, nurses will gather in Washington, D.C. for a national rally to raise public awareness regarding the importance of safe nurse-to-patient ratios and to support pending legislation. So this is good news for everyone. We do understand there is a nurse shortage. But yes, you can't say that's because we don't have enough nurses and that's why it's super thin. I think that, yes, plays a little bit to it. But on the flip side, those nurses that are not staying, the turnover rate of nurses is a lot of the time because of burnout. And why do nurses burn out? It's because they have unsafe nursing to patient ratios. And this is what we're fighting for next week in Washington, D.C., where there's legislation pending. If they see a bunch of us, if they hear us, remember, we are a little bit more than 1% of the population in the United States. If we are all there, someone's going to listen. I believe that. All 4 million of us. I'm pretty sure we hit that big 4. Anyways, yes, so that march is happening next week. Join me. Link in the description box below. Tell you everything you need to know. You better see you there or be square. What is it? That's not the saying. Be there or be square. Right? You know, what the young kids say these days. The young kids. All right, announcement number 2. You see my scrubs? The Red Sox scrubs. They're very red. They're very out there. They're popping. And do you know why I have Red Sox scrubs? Because Nurses Week is next month. It's the week of May 6th. The week of the 6th. May 6th is the beginning of Nurses Week is what I'm trying to say. And for recognizing nurses here in Boston, if you are a Massachusetts resident or if you are a Boston Red Sox fan, they have already voted the 10 nominees to be the nurse of the Red Sox Appreciation Day, who's going to throw the first pitch. They've already put down the 10 nominees. What you need to do is go on the site, which would be in the description down below. Click on that and read through all of these people. I'm just going to list their names, but there's 10 of them, so obviously I'm not going to do a full description of who they are. I will make a video about the nurse of the week after, or the week of, and that will be the nurse, obviously, because I am going to the Red Sox game. So for you nurses out there who are not the 10 nominees, who have already voted, who haven't voted, if you're a nurse, if you're in Massachusetts, if you're a Red Sox fan, if you're in New England, come on down on the Red Sox Nurse Appreciation Day. I'm going to be there. Hopefully, if the weather's well, I'll be in my red scrubs. We'll turn up. Do they even tailgate for Red Sox games? I don't know. But anyways, afterwards, we'll hang out in Fenway. We'll do what nurses do and do it big. Be there or be square. Oh, yeah. No, sorry. No, not yet. I am going to tell you the names, okay? These are the names of the nominees that have already been chosen that you need to go vote for. Tim, Elise, Kristen, Michelle, Prachi, Sahar, Chris, Jeffrey, Shelly, and Gary. Those are your 10 nominees. Go read about them. Pick your favorite. Pick the one that makes you move. Pick the one that speaks to you, because all of these nurses are special. Hopefully I'll get them on camera when it comes, game day. All right. On to the next. Now we can start with the news. Avengers Infinity War is coming to theaters near you in a week. In a week, April 27th, the Avengers Infinity War is coming to you. Marvel has taken over this culture. Really, just what human beings expect from an action movie, expect from an entertainment movie. I mean, Marvel is taking over the world. Wakanda forever, Black Panther forever. I mean, it's amazing. It's absolutely amazing. I mean, it's Pixar at its heyday, if you can even imagine. All right. Anyways, how does that have anything to do with nursing news? Because a Thor's hammer has been seen used in surgery. And I'm not talking about in the movies. I'm talking about real life surgery. A couple of doctors, surgeons in Australia have decided instead of their regular hammer when they're doing these orthopedic surgeries, they're going to use, yes, Thor's hammer itself. So don't hate, appreciate Thor's hammer in surgery. Yes, the tool used is called a surgical hammer, and they typically use this in large joint orthopedics like hip and knee replacements. This is the real thing, and I'm going to show you the picture. Surgeons in Sydney, Australia have been using this custom-built surgical hammer built in the image of Majonal. Jeez and Lord. Used in that image, the image of Thor's hammer's name. You look at it, you try to read it, don't hate me. In actual surgeries, it was used for the first time in March of this year in Wagga Wagga Hospital, that's the greatest name ever, after being constructed by a biomedical engineering firm in Sydney. I love these kind of stories. Just, you know, that's the difference between walking into a surgery with a surgeon who, you know, does his job, is great at his job, but is there because it's a job. And then you walk into a surgery knowing that your surgeon has these custom-made tools, and you can tell that he's an actual human being and he's not a robot that's going to do your surgery with no empathy and feeling. I just love that kind of things because it really helps to humanize the people who take care of us. And a lot of the times in hospitals these days we can just be, you know, robots. I am here to pass you your meds. I am here to break your leg. Fix your leg. When you see these things happen in hospital where it's personal, you know, custom-made hammer for the surgeon, he cares, he's a human, I can relate with him, I am happy with him doing my surgery, let's get to it. It's the little things. It's the little things. This is just a badass story of a nurse doing a badass shit in a crazy ass situation, which us nurses do all day, every day. But this is the epitome of that story. So a nurse has given CPR to a dying woman on a Southwest flight in an emergency landing. Not just in the hallway while they were cruising 3,000 feet in the air, which would have been scary enough. Nope, emergency landing. And instead of the nurse buckling her own seat and using the air mask as told, she said, you know what, I'm going to save this lady. All right. One of the flight's 1380s jet engines failed roughly 30 minutes after taking off from LaGuardia Airport in New York City, forcing a rough emergency landing in Philly International Airport. Passengers described a horrific scene wherein a drastic drop in pressure caused Jennifer Riordan, a mother of two, to be sucked out of the plane window. Other passengers were able to pull Riordan into the plane, where passenger Peggy Phillips, a retired nurse, rushed to her aid after hearing a call for anyone who knew CPR. Together with an EMT, Phillips gave Riordan CPR for 20 minutes through the plane's emergency landing in Philly, but it wasn't enough. Sadly, she passed away. I'm going to show you a picture of her. It's a horrible way to go. I know that it wasn't a successful CPR treatment. I know that she's dead. But this is the kind of thing that happens where it's like, you know what I'm talking about? It's an emergency landing. The plane is going down so fast that this woman got sucked out of the plane. And instead of this nurse taking care of herself and herself only, she says, nope, they need someone who can do a CPR. There's someone in ache and pain. There's a problem, and I've got to be there. And I think that's just, this lady, this story speaks to who and what nurses do. They give, and I am proud of it. Sad ending, but I am proud of it. So the rules has changed to allow Tammy Duckworth, who is a senator for Illinois, to have her newborn baby brought onto the floor when she is, voting on bills and legislation. And this is a rule change. And no one knew. A lot of people probably knew that this was a rule, but it's amazing, and I love that we're pushing forward, okay? So Ms. Duckworth, an Illinois Democrat, became the first sitting senator to give birth while in office. That is amazing to me. maybe that speaks at like how many female versus male representatives we have, senators we have. But that it kind of blows my mind that this is the first time that a representative has had a kid during their time spent. I mean, it's 4-year terms. Really? Not getting pregnant? Off a tangent. That's something else. So the United States Senate has passed a rule change proposed by Senator Tammy Duckworth that will allow her to breastfeed her newborn daughter on the Senate floor. Wonderful. Because breastfeeding, you can't control when it needs to happen, when your baby needs to eat, when the newborn needs to eat, they need to eat. So the resolution passed by unanimous consent, which will allow all senators, men and women, to bring their children under the age of 1 onto the floor. And yes, why am I talking about this? First of all, breastfeeding is the other type of nursing. It's a huge part of what we do. We bring life to this world. L&D is the goal. I say that every goddamn time I do a show. But it is the goal. And breastfeeding is the other type of nursing. The original type of nursing, right? But on top of that, and I love taking nursing credit wherever I goddamn can, right? So the reason I found the story is because of what Tammy Duckworth, who has passed an awesome bill, moving forward in a progressive way, but she has named her newborn Miley Pearl Bullsby, which is after her husband's great aunt, wait for it, who served as a nurse during World War II. These are the reasons. So there are very few things on this planet where I find is a way to give in an immeasurable way, right? Very few ways. And that is one of them. Naming your child after someone is saying thank you in the greatest way possible, right? It's like all I can give, all the good that person has ever given to me, I want to remember that in my child. And what is more precious to human beings on this planet than children themselves? Nothing. The answer is nothing, okay? Tammy Duckworth, congratulations on the newborn. Congratulations on moving America forward in a more progressive way. And I thank you for recognizing nursing as a heroic way to at least name your newborn after it. So, congratulations. So here is the nurse of the week, and I think this is amazing. These are the kind of nurses that got me going, waking up in the morning and going to CrossFit. These are the kind of nurses that get me to go on the Rev machine every morning with my good pals. These are the kind of nurse that makes me feel like, yes, being a nurse is important, but you got to love yourself and you got to be an example more so than just spew your education. You got to live it. You got to be it, right? So a nurse has won 2nd place in the Boston Marathon. I'm not talking 2nd place in the amateur field. I'm saying 2nd place in everything, in the elite, in all. She's 2nd place and she's a nurse. And I'm not talking about she was a nurse decades ago because she used to be a nurse, she stopped and she became a marathoner. No. This is a nurse who literally got off her last shift a month ago to just finish up her training using her earned time. And now she's back at it after running and placing in the goddamn Boston Marathon. I think it's phenomenal. First of all, congratulations to the first U.S. woman to win in over 3 decades. That's amazing. But this, Sarah Sellers, is amazing. She's a 26-year-old, and her time was 2 hours, 44 minutes, and 4 seconds, trailing the first place finisher, who is a 2-time Olympian. Amazing, right? So this is, I love this story because she had to pay $185 to get into the thing. She left with $75,000. Huge amount of winnings. That's amazing. First of all, good for you. Congratulations. You earned it. You won. You kicked some ass. You made me proud, right? That's number 1. But number 2, I love this story because you look at this and you think of a nurse, and a nurse is an everyday, simple Sally, an everyday, average Joe over here. Right? And she's doing amazing feats. I call nurses everyday heroes because they don't get recognized for the amazing human things they do every single day. But these are the kind of amazing feats where I can cut that everyday bullshit out and just say, you know what? Sarah Sellers, you are a hero. Congratulations. You make us proud. Who knows? Maybe I can quit being a nurse one day and become a basketball player. Or a track star. Get back into my shopper days. Who knows? Who goddamn knows? Here are some more news, and this is a little bit on the research and the stuff, and I like this story because I like this article because it talks about what needs to happen for us nurses to be more efficient. And let me explain something to y'all. And as nurses, you know what I'm talking about. There's a million things we have to do every day we get into work, from the second we're in there to the second we leave, right? There's a million things we have to do. And I never thought about it. And of course we talk about it, that one patient that just won't stop talking, that one family member that has more questions than the freaking nursing NCLEX exam, right? So we know those things exist, but we've never seen all of it in the big picture of interruptions and how it affects nursing. Number one, nursing efficiency of getting shit done that they need to get done, but most importantly, how it affects quality care for the patients that we are caring for. Right? So I love this article because it speaks to that issue exactly. So a new paper in the International Journal of Human-Computer Interactions showed that ED nurses should be trained to avoid answering questions or non-emergency phone calls while delivering direct care to patients and while engaged in EMR documentation. Also, relatives of patients should allow the healthcare worker to perform critical duties without interruption. Without it. So this entire article, so let me just break down how it was set up. All right, so they found that ED nurses' most frequent tasks, they broke them down into 8 basic categories such as direct care, documentation, social breaks, and other tasks including supervision and education. They also noted the 5 most common interruptions to the nurses' work included phone calls. That's huge. Colleagues, residents, doctors, and relatives of the patients. So the results. What were the results when they did the study? The analysis showed that when emergency department nurses were interrupted in patient care activities, their workload was about 2 times higher. When electronic medical documentation was added to those tasks, the workload was about 4 times higher than in a non-interruption scenario. And to me, ladies and gentlemen, I think that is insane. And after reading this, I just thought about my day, right? Like I thought about my day at work. And the amount of times, and like they put education as like a nursing task, not as a distraction. They put it as a nursing task because, oh my, it's such a nursing task. Outside of the times where a patient is like, explain to me this medication, or explain to me this treatment, or family's asking that kind of stuff. Outside of that, the amount of times I am talking about non-emergent, and I understand that this is for emergency room nurses, but I work on the floor and it's a different perspective and all of that good stuff. But the amount of time that I have to explain that stuff is a lot. It's a lot of time. I don't count them, I don't time it, but it's a goddamn lot. And you nurses hear me here know it is, right? And it must be even more in the emergency room department, because that is at the time where no one knows what's going on. Everyone is trying to figure out the issue. So the amount of time a patient's asking questions that aren't emergent, a family member's asking questions that aren't emergent, there's a million people moving, there's a million people in the hospital, and you're getting interrupted by random people. Where's the kitchen? Where's the bathroom? Where all of this non-emergent stuff, even when it comes from a resident, asking you how to put in, they're new to the hospital, it's a teaching hospital, and they don't know how to put in an order, and they're just asking a nurse. Non-emergent situations, tasks, that kind of stuff, that must happen 1,000 million gajillion times a day. And of course your work doubles, feels like it doubles. The workload quadruples because the amount of time you have to spend on it is limited. And on top of the limitation, you have this huge amount of stress, especially being in an ED. So, after my huge rant, what I'm trying to say is, let your ED nurses, ED health providers and all, get their shit done. There must be different policy about letting a certain amount of family members in. There has to be all of that good stuff. And I think we need to even look deeper into that so we can make nursing tasks more efficient. Because like I said, this interruption during nursing patient care and interruption during nursing documentation is humongous. The nursing documentation is what the doctors look at to decide the treatment for the patients. The nursing care, actual patient care, is what is actually going in. The meds going into the patient, the treatments that are happening for the treatments, ailments, those are the things that are actually going to affect the patient. So if you are interrupting either of those things, the end result for that patient's care, for wherever they're there, is going to be less than amazing. So let's just get that understood and let your nurses do nursing things, and when they're free and you can look at them and then you can ask them or you can tell them to come by when you need to do all of your questioning, take care of it then. I know it's much easier said than done, but that's why I think we need to look at it as a policy situation of when and how nurses are documentation, when and how patients, families and patients and all of these things should talk to nurses during activities of treatment and documentation. Sorry for the rant. I just feel very deeply on this issue. I don't even work in an ED, but I know the stress of getting interrupted every 5 seconds of every day or while you're trying to do patient care and document. Hey! So this, I'm going to end with 2 videos that I'm making to spread the Q the Nurse ways. And on top of spreading the Q the Nurse ways, I'm making these videos because I do feel like us nurses as a whole just need to be recognized, respected, acknowledged, and just understood more so than we already are. Hello, thank you very much for watching. My name is Swadik Mayanja, and I am Q the Nurse. I am indeed a nurse. I love nursing. I love everything about nursing. I think it's the greatest profession in the world. And with all of that being said, I understand and I believe that nurses do not get the acknowledgement that they need. So I've been a nurse for 2 years. And since the day I became a nurse, since the day I started going into nursing school, I knew that I was made to do this. But once I became a nurse, I understood that nurses are not getting the love from the world, from the ether. They don't get the respect, the acknowledgement that they deserve. So I believe, and I decided to take that responsibility on my shoulders. So I have a YouTube channel, and on that channel I bring you news, current events, research, and fun topics for nurses everywhere. And then on top of that, I also make an everyday hero interview series in which I talk to everyday heroes, aka nurses, about the amazing things that they do and their stories. And I would love to continue to spread that kind of love because yes, I do believe it takes a nurse. It takes all of us nurses. It takes nursing, the entire profession. And in my little way, I am trying to spread that love, that profession, that way of thinking, that way of life to the world. Yes, it takes a nurse. It takes nursing. Hello, Front Page Tech. I am so excited. I really, really hope you choose me. Anyways, let me tell you why I should be featured in your hashtag creator awesomeness. My name is Swadik Mayanja. I am Q the Nurse. And by that title, you know I am a nurse. I love nursing. I've been a nurse for 2 years. And I think it's the greatest profession ever. And I want to spread that love to the world. And very similarly to what you do, I put out news. But I do current events, research, and fun topics that matter to nurses everywhere. And why is that an awesome-tacular thing? Because nurses are an awesome-tacular people. They are just great human beings, and I'm not trying to gas my head up. I am just telling you the truth, because as a nurse, I have never been around smarter, more intelligent, more beautiful. Yes, it is a 98% female profession. Thank you very much. But I love my job. I love the people I work with. I love the nursing profession. And yes, I think that they are awesome-tacular. I might be the creator spreading that love to the world, and that's why I would love to be featured. But I honestly believe I am not awesome. What I do is awesome. And what they do, what nurses do, is awesome. Hashtag creator awesomeness. Thank you. Front Page Tech forever.